Welcome. I'm Alice Alicia Jones, and this is another one of my Living Consciously videos. I welcome you for your interest in this. I get a lot of people who do it on replay, and it's amazing how many comments get back to me about how um, people are interested in the things that I have to say. Everything that I bring forward is effectively, in my lexicon, comes from God. That is what my connection is. And that is, I feel I have a direct channel to God, but so do all of us. I am no different than anybody else. I'm just aware of it. And it's my mission in life to share that with everybody. And so I really do appreciate you being here. I appreciate your interest. I I do ask that you share this with others and pass it on if you feel that there is anything there that a friend, a relative, a coworker, anybody would have uh, to to benefit any that if anybody would benefit. For some reason, my Facebook Live has gotten lost, and they're trying to reconnect. And and something about cellular data. So it must be something in the atmosphere right now, something with the with the internet. Well, here we are back again. We're back on live, online for Facebook Live. Okay, today we're going to finish up. This was the 12-step program on how to connect with God through your higher self. And number 12 is I am willing to seek conscious contact with God in the silence through meditation, contemplation, and prayer. And the key word here is silence. Effectively, yes. Can you be out in the middle of a throng and still stay connected to God? Absolutely, you can. There's nowhere you are that God isn't. So, but to get the maximum benefit of the peace of God within you, um, the what is recommended is that you do this in the silence. You do this by yourself. And that means maybe you like to take a walk, but you like to take it with friends and you chatter the whole way, or you like to put on headphones and you listen to music. And as a result, you miss the sounds of the birds, you miss the sounds of whatever animals might be out there, if they're there and make any sound. Usually they're pretty quiet, even when they do appear. But we're going to start with first with meditation. And in meditation, there are so many videos on meditation, and there are so many books, and there are so many classes, and there are so many YouTube videos that give you all kinds of ideas on how to meditate. I'm just going to give you a 30-second hint. And this comes through Reiki 3. This comes through Dr. Usui, who is the one who brought forth the Reiki tradition that I'm a part of, the healing tradition that I'm a part of. What he says to get ourselves into that quiet space, that restful space, is to put our hands in the prayer position, thumbs together, obviously, thumbs press into the breastbone, and our focus is on the middle finger, the third finger. That's what we focus and concentrate on. So I'm going to do that silently for just a few seconds. And you close your eyes when you do that. You do not keep your eyes open. You close your eyes. And your focus, by you having to focus, it's the course somehow or other of you having to focus on the middle finger plus the effect of the thumbs pressing against the breastbone brings your mind to a stillness, to quiet. And then pick up with your breath. Pick up and start to breathe to the count of four. Breathe in, hold for four. To the count of four, breathe out. Breathe in, hold for four. Breathe out for four. Breathe in for four, hold for four. Breathe out for four. And when you get to the fourth breath, do something a little bit different. Breathe into the count of eight, but now keep your focus on breathing up your spine, holding at the top of your crown, top of your head, breathing down the front of your spine. So little bit different, but in that experience of you holding your breath, it gives you a feeling of, again, calmness. And so try that, see if it works for you. And if the eight count breath doesn't work, then just go with four. Just go with four in, hold, four out. Four in, hold, four out. And see if how you feel about that. So I really do think that you might be pleasantly surprised. I once took a 10-week meditation class. I think in that 10 weeks, it was ironical, but it was in the same place where I was doing my readings and healings. And I happened to get six times I had clients that took me an extra half hour. So I wasn't able to get the full benefit of the 10-week program, but I don't remember anything different that he taught me that I could pass on to you to calm your mind that's any better than what I have just said. So the whole key is for your focus and your concentration to go into calmness, to get rid of the monkey mind, let go of the to-do list, let go of I'm so mad at any angry outbursts, let go of any pressures. That is key. You've got to effectively just go inside yourself. And what you focus and what you concentrate on is where your energy is going to flow, because energy follows intent, and your intent is to focus and concentrate on strictly getting into a calm place. And so that's what's important. The next one, and very little known. Not many people talk about this. Not many meditations are out there. But one of these days, Um, I'm going to take my screen outside on my porch which I did last year, And I'm going to practice this for the whole 20-minute session. But it's called contemplation. Contemplation is different than meditation. Contemplation, you have your eyes open and you take an object, and you can have any object you want. You can have a leaf, you can have a stick, you can have a match head. That's a favorite one because it doesn't really feel like, what is there in a match head that I could even get? Um, go into any kind of space that's sacred. There is, but you have to find it. But my favorite is a flower. I love flowers. Anybody who follows me on Facebook knows that because probably 90% of the pictures I post, it's either a picture of my grandson or it's a picture of a flower. Once in a while, I sneak in there too. And the beauty is that contemplating a flower in the sunlight, there is nothing more glorious. And the times that I'll just talk about two times where I contemplated. First, a daffodil. We're kind of beyond the season of daffodils right now, unless you're really far north, in which case, yes, they could still be around, but ours are long gone, even the late ones. And the time when I took a daffodil and I just sat down and I decided, okay, in the sunlight for 20 minutes, I was going to do nothing except look at that daffodil. What I discovered was how perfectly symmetrical it was, how the flutes of the trumpet, how they matched in every direction. The gold specks that were on the trumpet, it was like it was dusted with fairy dust that was gold. Amazing. I had never known that a trumpet, a daffodil, had gold flecks on it, and then the perfect symmetry of the rest of it. But the other flower that I chose was a daisy, a Shasta daisy, and you could. I don't know if this will work with an aster. I think an aster has a totally different uh, formation. But the daisy, of course, I started by pulling the petals off and counting the petals. Then I removed the top portion of the inside of the daisy. And then as I removed that, I noticed all the hexagon shapes that were inside there. And inside every hexagon was a itty, itty, teeny, teeny, tiny little circle. And then for some reason, I started to pick at the hexagons. And what I got to was another layer of hexagons. And that was amazing to me that there was yet another layer of, of these perfectly geometrical hexagons that was inside the top layer of hexagons. And then when I got to that, I just marveled at that. And then I thought, why don't I turn it over? And as I turned over and looked at the back of the daisy, I saw that it was perfectly formed swirls. Or actually, I guess they're called swirls. It's SWORLS because every single formation of the back, the little green, almost looked like dragon scales, but they kind of went to in clockwise formation. And I think there were six of them, and they were perfectly separated from each other in terms of distance. And so I was absolutely astonished. And people who really don't like to look at objects or would not want to tear a flower apart. I didn't tear the daffodil apart. I just looked at it. Uh, the Another thing that you can do is the match head. A match head. It seems like, well, what could I possibly see in a match head? You would be amazed. You just like taking a crystal and looking at the formation of everything inside that crystal and maybe recognizing the rainbows that are trapped inside the crystal. I think one of my uh, crystals probably has, I'm not even sure, maybe in the neighborhood of 20, maybe 30 rainbows inside of it that I would have never discovered had I not contemplated. And in this case, I had sunlight streaming in, but I wasn't directly in the sunlight when I was looking at this. So that's the benefit of contemplation. And contemplation gives you a feeling of you being connected to something greater than you are, and of all of us being connected. I know that the priest who discovered the Fibonacci sequence, that was his last name. He discovered that by walking in the woods and just counting the petals of the flowers that he encountered, he discovered that there was a sequence that constantly repeated itself. And it started with one, and then you add one to one, and it becomes two. Then you add two to one, and it becomes three. Then you continue to go backwards. You go three to two, that becomes five. So, and then five to three, that becomes eight. It was those sequence that he discovered were prevalent and repeated themselves in nature. So, this is you taking time for you, taking time to bring peace into your life, to bring a calmness into your life. Because God knows we have enough to frazzle us. We have enough that constantly makes us um, uptight, up, and ready to uh, lose our cool. The last thing I wanted to cover in this is prayer. That's the most common to man. Everybody basically knows, I think, that hopefully they know that prayer is nothing more than talking to God. You talk to God in your own words. You do not have to say formal prayers. But I loved Lily Tomlin's definition of prayer. She says, man talking to God is called prayer. God talking to man is called schizophrenia. And since God has spoken to me from the time I was 8, um, I struggled immensely with going public with my gifts and with what I knew, with everything that was important to me. And I knew that it's that's not important. What is important is that I share the message that comes in. And I know that everybody, I just pray that the people that need to hear this message end up receiving it, because that's what I prayed to God from the beginning. Is that when I realized I had to give up my real estate career, and I said, okay, then send me the people who need to hear what I have to say. And if you are in need of a meditation book, Own Your Power Day by Day is the best, because every word has God's influence in it. Every word is upbeat, positive, and just helps you move forward in what it is that you need to do with your life. Plus, it's filled with stories. I teach the way Christ taught. Christ taught with parables. I teach with stories. And so I encourage you to get it. I also have wanted to share the fact that I also do teach Reiki. It's an energy healing. There's thousands of modalities out there. That's the one I've chosen. Reiki 1, 2, and 3. And I just finished a Reiki 1 class. Reiki 2 will be coming up, I think, June, whatever is the second Saturday in June, June 12th, I think, but whatever is the second Saturday in June. And that's the Reiki 2 class. And then Reiki 3 will be in July. I take August off. And then I start the cycle again. Reiki 1 in September, Reiki 2 in October, Reiki 3 in November. And to get more information, you can actually find the whole class delineated on my website, Alicia, ALICJA, AliciaJones.com. That's the Polish pronunciation and Polish spelling of my name. So I really love that you have been here, and I appreciate you, love you dearly, and will see you next week. Um, but before I forget, or before I go, I really wanted to have a couple more things on prayer besides Lily Tomlin's uh, uh, cute joke about it. In prayer, she said, "More." The This is a quote that I dearly love, and this is May 7th in my book, because every page is approximately 2 pages of meditation. But for May 7th, it was, "More things are wrought by prayer than this world dreams of." And that was a quote from Alfred Lord Tennyson. And the two things that I wanted to share with you that I felt very amazed at was the fact that the in Nagasaki, when the atom bomb was dropped on Nagasaki, right in the epicenter, right where the heart of where the bomb was dropped, a convent was the only thing that wasn't flattened. It was there. It stood as a building. And there is a picture of it, probably by um, uh, one of the national or international distributors. But they said that in that convent, the group of nuns said 3 rosaries a day. So they prayed 3 times. They did a formal rosary, and they had that stayed. And I had something similar in recently, and by recently, when there was a tsunami that devastated Indonesia, they showed how the tsunami had flattened everything except a mosque. The mosque was still standing. And what is a mosque but a house of prayer? So effectively, I feel that the last visual that I want to leave you with is that when you pray, it's like for a person, a place, an object, anything. It's like you sending the light of grace in a bridge of twinkling light to that person. When you worry, it's like you sending a dust cloud to that person. So please do constantly keep your prayers going, but do not mix them with worry, because worry is not beneficial to the person energetically, is not beneficial to the person that your person, place, or thing you're worried about. So I'll leave you today. I bless you. I thank you for the opportunity to share these thoughts with you and with anybody that comes on later. And in the event that you want to reach me for anything, you can send me an email, alicejones7@verizon.net. Thank you, and I'll see you next week at 1. Thank you. Welcome. I'm Alice Alicia Jones, and this is another